it's easier. Oh yeah, Dr. Randall, Dr. Dr. Chris Jarman, that was my classmate. We got a lot of doctors here. I ain't no doctor. Dr. T. Now, I mean, as a student, a lot of times you go into class and just want to get your class over with, but when you get behind the scenes, you realize how hard it is to do events and to do events the whole week. So just kind of give them a round of applause. And we'll be wrapping up tomorrow with a event to conclude, but I want to go ahead and get started because of time, and I'm going to present the moderator for the first panel of the graduate school edition, and it's going to be Lanaya Grayson. She's going to be the moderator. They're going to be discussing, the overall topic is going to be chatting with the enemy. I don't know what's the enemy they're talking about. We're going to see. AI identity and the evolution of communication. Give her another round of applause for Ms. Lanaya Grayson.
All right, everyone. I was just looking around the room because we're pretty much familiar with most of the people that are in the room today, but thank you guys for being here. We have about 20 people in the room. I hope there's more people that comes in, but I was explaining to some of my classmates that this is a good opportunity for them to build their public speaking and just the opportunity to be able to fellowship and be amongst each and every one of you today. So am I starting with my panel as well, or am I just inviting up? I think I'm going to invite my panelists up. So I wasn't gonna start though. Can I? Okay. Okay. Sorry guys, we had a plan. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start with Kadoria Harper. Give it up for Kadoria Harper. And you're gonna stand here and are we going to be able to have control over our presentations, or we'll just tell you when to go to the next slide? So just next slide. Okay, so just next slide when you're ready, okay? Got it? You feel good?
Yeah. Yes.
How's this feel for you?
No, yeah.
Good?
Thank you. Hey, y'all. Oh, it's the machine-mediated messaging. I can start. Okay. Hello, y'all. My name is Kadoria Harper. I'm a first semester graduate student focused on professional communication and digital media. Today, I will be discussing the topic machine-mediated messaging and the implications it has on interpersonal communication. Next slide. Machine-mediated messaging refers to interpersonal communication facilitated by AI. It represents a shift in traditional messaging to landscape where machine act as active intermediaries. Next slide. The theory I will be connecting to this topic is the media richness theory, also known as the bandwidth theory. The theory was first introduced by Richard Dahl and Robert Lingle in the 1980s. The theory is to evaluate the effectiveness of multiple different communication channels. The main focus of the theory is that the richer media channels are more effective for communicating emotional information, whereas the leaner media channels are better for factual data. You can go to the next slide. Oh, okay. Determining how rich the medium, you look at the four specific characteristics. The immediate response. How quickly can a receiver respond? Face-to-face allows for immediate feedback, whereas email response takes hours. Multiple cues. I'm sorry, y'all. Does the media allow for nonverbal signals like tone of voice, body language, or facial expressions? Language variety. Can the sender use a wide language like symbols or metaphors? Personal focus. How easy can the message be tailored to the specific receiver to show personal attention? These are the three pillars of the machine mediated messaging. AI driven enhancement, which the popular softwares include Grammarly and Google Gemini. Automated social mediators, that includes HotSuite. Voice activated virtual assistants, you may be familiar with Alexa and Siri. You can go to the next slide. How machines step into our conversations. Let's dive deeper into the three pillars. The first pillar, text enhancement has evolved from simple spell checkers to workflow partners that don't just fix errors, they predict the next thinking, the next thinking phase of writing. While these tools offer massive efficiency gains, they also introduce subtle shifts in how we communicate and process information. Modern AI, like Google Gemini or Grammarly, their generative features are proactive. Some of them offer tone transformation, which allows for the ability to switch an email from blunt to professional. Smart replies. For example, Gmail often has 3 different selections with pre-written responses to emails instead of having to think about what to type up. The second pillar. This tool actively manages, shapes, and sometimes gatekeeps our interpersonal relationships. These are systems that don't just help you write, they help you perform socially by managing your digital presence and interactions. For example, Instagram allows creators to have automated replies after a user comments a certain word on their posts. The third pillar, voice-activated intermediaries. Siri and Alexa, they both translate human intent into machine action, often stripping away the politeness or nuance found in human-to-human requests. Next slide. Bridging the nonverbal gap, the loss of prosody. Prosody is the music of language, the pitch and stress. MMM often flattens this, making it hard to tell if a short okay is enthusiastic, annoyed, or neutral. For example, sending a fine with a period or a fine with an exclamation point. A period often feels cold or final, leading the receiver to wonder if they've upset you. The kinesics void. Human communication is roughly 70 to 93% nonverbal. Without facial expressions or gestures, the emotional metadata of a message is lost. Adding excessive emojis is an example, but this can come across as unprofessional or mask the true matter of the situation. The risk of misattribution. When context is missing, the receiver fills the gap with their own bias. If the receiver is stressed, they may interpret an AI-enhanced professional email as passive-aggressive rather than efficient. You can go to the next slide. The psychological implications, fatigue and detachment, how our brains are always on through a screen. Digital fatigue is the mental exhaustion that results from the invisible labor of communicating through a machine. Unlike face-to-face, it's understood through a person's presence. MMM requires us to have high levels of cognitive reframing because the lack of emotional data or facial expressions in the tone, so our brain is working overtime to decode the context. For example, sending a "we need to talk" text, in person you would see a calm face. Digitally, your brain would spiral. Selective responses. When we're overwhelmed, we start skimming relationships. A friend sending you a long, heartfelt message, but only responding to certain parts. The buffer effect, leaving overcritical comments on your peers or brand posts. MMM often gives people the confidence to say things online that they wouldn't say face-to-face. The next slide, thank you. Strategic management, efficiency versus authenticity. Your solution, the human first protocol, using MMM for technical efficiency like scheduling, data sharing, or the initial draft. Preserving a brand's voice. In PR, over-animation can kill a brand's personality. Authenticity is the currency of the digital age. If every response is a template, the brand loses its soul. Next slide. These are the two sources that I cited and did research with. The University of Memphis actually connected this same topic to the media richness theory, and then the American Psychological Association said that the use of AI is harming us and our relationships because we rely on them too much at times. Thank you, guys.
All right, y'all, give it up one more time for Kadoria. All right, the next person I'm going to call up is Anthony Williams. Y'all give it up for Anthony Williams.
Just turn that up right there. Oh. All right. Okay. Yeah. Let's go. All right, that'll be good. Yeah, I bet. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Boy, I feel like a preacher up here. All right, so mine is AI and identities. Oh, there we go. Uh-oh. Ain't no backing out now. Okay. All right. Good evening. How y'all doing? Y'all doing all right? All right. So my name is Anthony Williams, and so what I'll be presenting today is AI and identity. All right. You can go to the next slide. All right. So first, what I want everybody to think about, we're just gonna think about a quick little discussion question, which is, do we think AI improves or harms identity? All right. So you can go to the next slide. All right. And so with AI identity, when we're talking about this, so the framework for it is dramaturgical framework by sociologist Irving Goffman. So Irving Goffman framework says that everyday life is like a stage where people act differently depending on who is watching. All right, and then he also states we present ourselves in certain ways in public while behaving naturally in private. All right, so you can go ahead and go to the next one. So the main question is, what is identity? So identity is how we see ourselves, whether that's through race, whether that's through passion, religion, and etc. And also through representation, how others see us. All right, you can go to the next one. Which leads to the next point, which is digital personas. AI creates digital versions of us. It's also used for communication and interaction. AI twins, AI customer service, chatbots, and virtual influencers. So some common examples would be ChatGPT, Copilot, and social media. So how many of us in here have social media? I'm pretty sure all of us have Instagram or Facebook. Raise a hand. Raise your hands. We all got it, right? So did y'all know that when you search on Instagram or Facebook, it's also, it could be like a ChatGPT. You can ask any question. So if I wanted to know what's going on, like in the world tomorrow, I can go, hey, so what's going on? What's going on tomorrow? And Instagram or Facebook would tell us exactly what's going on in the world, right? Okay, so you can go to the next one. So, so AI can respond to us like humans, and is also used in platforms like LinkedIn and Indeed as well. So what helps with this, and also it helps us with scheduling, messaging, organizing, and much more. All right, so you can go to the next one. All right, so now the next point, which would be identity verification and security. So moving beyond passwords, biometric authentication is growing. So a great example of this, you can go to the next slide as well. How many of us have iPhones? We all have, just about majority in the room have iPhones, right? And everybody's familiar with Apple Face ID, right? So what this does is Apple ID enhances security and convenience. And it also helps when it comes to payments, apps and payments, and it's also fast and secure, right? So everybody's familiar with Apple Pay as well, right? Okay, cool. Good. You go to the next slide. So creative self-representation. So AI helps people express themselves, no need to show their real face. You can go to the next one, which is also aspirational imagery as well, which is AI-generated images and helps identity develop and reduces anxiety. So I hear it all the time. Do I agree with it? It's a little different. So how many of us have a conversation with ChatGPT, like on a regular daily basis, right? So one day we just regularly hey, so what should I make for dinner? What's a healthy choice that I should make for dinner? And you just type it in ChatGPT and they give you a bunch of different options and stuff, right? Okay, so I'm gonna give you one more example. Go ahead and go to the next one. You can go to the next slide. All right, so here goes a great example. So for this panel, we all had to take headshots, correct? We all had to take headshots. I needed a headshot. I never took a headshot a day in my life, right? So my beautiful colleague, Ms. Akila Smith, she took some great headshots one day, but I just couldn't make it. I couldn't make it when they took them. So everybody's asking me, hey, so what am I gonna do for a headshot? And I was like, I mean, I'm a photographer. I can figure it out. I can set up a 2-point lighting and take a picture. But I really didn't know how I was gonna take it. So then my other classmate, Lanaya, she asked me, hey, so why not use ChatGPT? I was like, how can we do that? So you can go to the next slide. So what we did was, so I sent 2 pictures, right? Well, I sent this picture. And this is how the conversation went. The conversation went, hey, so I have a presentation that's coming up and I need to take a professional headshot. Can you make one? And ChatGPT, we don't call him Cousin Chat, right? So Cousin Chat said, sure, please upload a photo of me and tell me what your preferred style, whether it's corporate, casual, or background, lighting, and all of that. So I responded, I want a clean corporate look with a neutral background. And ChatGPT responded, great. I'll generate a polished professional headshot with studio lighting and a simple background. And within 10, maybe 15, 20 seconds, you can go to the next slide. It came up with this, right? That looked pretty cool, pretty legit, right? Right? So really the main thing is like ChatGPT really helped me out. You can go to the next one. All right, so there's pros and there's cons to having AI identity, right? So the cons would be privacy concerns, loss of authenticity, and dependence on AI, which the world is coming to where we are starting, well, you have folks that are starting to depend a little too much on AI rather than using it as a tool, right? So you can go to the next one, which leads to some pros. So the pros would be the convenience, security, self-expression, and also efficiency. All right, so you can go to the next one. Now, so in conclusion, So AI is reshaping identity, and the question you have to ask yourself is, are we still fully human? Are we still fully human defined? And that's it. Thank you for your time.
All right, y'all, give it up one more time for AJ. All right, and then we're gonna call to the stage or to the front Armand. Armand is going to do his Armani. He said I can call him Armand. Armani. Call Armani up so that he can do his presentation and get that queued up. And then I'll be right after Armani, just FYI to our brother in the back that is doing the tech. All right, y'all, one more time for Armani.
Do I need to use this? Oh, it's pretty loud. That's good. Okay, I'm good. You said I need it? I need it? Yeah. Oh, we live? Hey, everybody. How we going? All right, so hi, everyone. My name is Armani Najee. I am doing my topic over interpersonal communications. I'm taking a standpoint from this thing called the empathy erosion theory. I'm talking about how AI-generated messages apply to this thing called the empathy erosion theory, and how, honestly, y'all, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it to death. And part of why I'm late today, we're about to get into it. Oh, sorry. Part of why I'm late is because I have to deal with this today. I have a real-life story for y'all. So, my car, I've been having car trouble. You put it in the shop. I hate dealing with mechanics, but y'all gotta deal with it. I call the phone and see my car's done. Nice lady answers the phone. Hi, what's your name? I'm like, oh, hey, nice to meet you, My name's Amaya Davis. Like, how can I, do you have your license plate number? Of course I do. I tell her my license plate number. What's your issue? Well, ma'am, actually, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on in my car. It's been a little minute. Let me see if I can find someone to help you. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting a little bit. She come back. Seems like everyone's busy. Is there any more information you can give me? I'm like, well, sure. I'm going on telling this lady about my day. Turns out this is AI. I'm talking to this AI bot the whole time just for it to hang up in my face, and I did not feel seen or appreciated about that. My feelings was a little bit hurt. I'm being honest with y'all. I'm like, I didn't tell you my whole life story. We talking. I think we might have a little connection, honestly. My heart broke. So we're talking about why this topic matters. I've been in communications for the past 10 years, and honestly, it's been my whole life, and I love it to death. I've been on stage talking to people where I'm teaching my kids how to debate or giving speeches like this. And I absolutely love this face-to-face opportunity. When COVID hit and it took it away, I truly saw the crashing down point of losing the art of communications. And why is this even more important is because the central question is AI, we know it's not going anywhere. So how do we still keep the communications between people at the same time learning how to work with AI? Next slide, please. No. Technical difficulty. So today's focus is we're going to talk about the problems, okay? We're going to talk about the dangers, and I'm going to give you some simple solutions so we just won't turn into robots because we're heading down that point, y'all. It sounds goofy, but I promise you, we're this close every single day. Next slide, please. So, the problems. Let's start off by defining what the empathy erosion theory actually is, okay? Say that's the gradual decline or breakdown of an individual's ability or willingness to understand, share, and respond to their emotions of others, often resulting in cold, interpersonal, dehumanized interactions. Overall, the more and more that we use technology, instead of coming face to face with people, we slowly slowly lose the skill to learn each other. Let that sit for a second. That's kind of scary. We already know, we always say, I feel older now, these kids in these cell phones. What are they doing? Back in the day, I was on the phone talking to my friends. What are they doing now? They're no longer talking to their friends. They're using some type of other medium to talk, and that medium is then talking to their friends. It's like a middleman in between now. And that middleman doesn't have emotions. So how do they know how to say things? That's the scary part. That's the part of communications that we need to preserve, is that not having a middleman. When I talk to you, it's coming strictly from me, from the heart. Next slide, please. So By Turkle in 2015, they say that digital communications can sacrifice empathy for efficiency. Sure, ChatGPT is fast. I love it. I use it myself. We have all these other ones as well. I don't want to just pick on Chat. It's just my favorite. But as efficient as it might be, what are we sacrificing besides water? Everything has a cost. And that cost is our own humanity. Next slide, please. So we talk about the loss of emotional authenticity, basically saying that the more that we use AI, we're losing the authentic part and genuine part of ourselves as we communicate. Me here right now, this is me and all its greatness. But if I sent someone else to talk for me, would it really be true? Would it really be authentic? Would they really present it the exact same way I would? And that's the same thing we talk about AI or any other type of artificial intelligence, okay? We also want to talk about something called, I'm sorry, can we go back one more time? We also talk about something called cognitive overflowing. This is reducing, basically saying that the more that we use AI, not only is it limiting us in that moment, in that action itself, but over time, humanity is going to start limiting and getting even more, well, less self-educated. What if we just start, oh, you know what? It's my cousin's birthday. I don't really feel like knowing to say. I'm just going, hey, chat, remind me on April 15th to send somebody a message for happy birthday. Okay, and what if on my birthday he decides, well, I'm just going to forget too. Chat, you send one out too. And so we just got bots, messengers saying happy birthday. At what point are we, is it even genuine at that point? I don't think so. I think we can all agree by that. I think there's definitely a difference between me saying, hey, happy birthday, man, I'm very proud of you. And someone else that you don't know, like, hey, here's a card. It's like it's not the same. It's not the same. Next slide, please. When we talk about over-resilience on AI and emotional expression, again, Gilbert in 2016, along with Risk, says that connect to the concept of cognitive offloading, where we rely externally tools to perform tasks we should normally do ourselves. Simple things. Saying happy birthday. Answering a phone and, hey, I have a problem, I have an issue, can you help me? These are simple things. We're not using AI to figure out, the cures to diseases. I'm all for it. We saw what happened during COVID. We needed that. I think we all agree. We was like, oh yeah, AI, great. AI to write a paper. I know I'm stepping on some shoes. You know what I'm saying? Simple task that we can do ourselves. Come on, y'all, we gotta do a little bit better. Come on now. Hey, look, even little things, I'm all for saying you ain't gotta forget you got a supercomputer in your pocket. You ain't remember your mama's birthday? Come on. I'm talking to somebody out there. You gotta put your phone to remind your mama's birthday. How many of y'all even remember over 5 phone numbers by heart? See, look, we got one. I'm one. We losing that. We losing recipes. Simple things like that. Look, you can see it right now. In the last, not even 10 or 5 years, we're already seeing this live in action. Next slide, please. Now let's talk about the dangers. Talk about the worst of the worst opportunities that can happen from this. Real empathy erosion happens. This is the scary part. This is where we turn to robots and then we get Terminator and then we all, it's a whole, we don't want to deal with that. Empathy erosion is supported by research showing a measurable decline in empathy. And I just showed it right now. Within the last 5 to 10 years, y'all don't remember over 5 phone numbers by heart. Is it even crazier to say that we don't know how to talk to people anymore? I remember the first time I asked a girl her number, I was in the whole car, 812, 812, I got home. We don't even do it. We don't even do that anymore. Kids don't even experience that. They don't have to. I think that's a moment we can cherish a little bit. Learning and being nervous to speak to people is what makes us better at it. And we take that away, we're losing the art form. Next slide, please. The loss of nonverbal cues and performative communications. This is where emojis come into play. Because little do you know, nonverbal communication is a very huge part of communication. For example, I get into a car wreck. They say, sir, are you okay? Okay. I'm like, okay, well, he's pretty neutral. But if I say, I'm okay, I'm not okay. It's a whole different verbal dialect to it. Even if I had an expression on my face, by having that face-to-face connection can tell even deeper into the story or the emotion that that person is feeling. And again, with AI, we're losing that because it doesn't have emotions, and it really doesn't have a face-to-face to have emotions with. Okay? Next slide, please. And here we go. Here's the solutions. I'm going to tell y'all how we stop the world from turning to robots and how I'm going to help save the world, and we got a Transformers thing going on, and Decepticons, etc. Yeah, because they're everywhere. I see it every day. It's bad. We need to really start using AI as a tool. Really. You can I feel like even saying partner's a little bit too crazy, but I'm cool with tools. Because that's what it is. It's made for us to use to help each other, not as an excuse to not be there ourselves. Remember your mama's birthday. Maybe actually pull up on your cousin and say, hey, let's hang out. Maybe not just send that automated email. Maybe put a little bit of a personal touch in there, even though it's going to have a little AI write, and it comes in clutch, because all you got to do is press tab, and it writes the whole email based off what you put a little bit more effort in. Save some water. And I guarantee that connection is going to mean even more when you do it. And then it's going to make the person that you send it to, I guarantee they're going to see it as well. One last thing I want to say. Is it the next slide? I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, next slide. One more thing. So in conclusion, AI is here to stay. We can't get rid of it. I think, regardless how you feel, it's here to stay. I think it's an amazing tool. Some people use it as their best friend. I use it like every day, but I use it to bounce my own ideas off of myself, not to create for me. Because AI cannot create, it can only replicate. And by doing so, as we use AI as a tool for one another, we're also able to learn another a little bit better to the point where we can have empathy instead of just pity. And I'll have a little video at the end that shows what the difference between empathy and sympathy is. We can watch. I think I got time. I don't think I'm hitting time anymore too soon. And next slide, please. Here's a little short. This is from, I want to say, if I'm not too crazy, 15 years ago. And I think AI boom was 2023, if I'm correct. So I think someone fact check me on that. But this goes to show they were thinking ahead with this. Empathy erosion theory isn't a new idea. They were saying this back when we had pages. And now we have supercomputers in our pocket. And we are even more disconnected than ever. Can you play that video, please? It's only like 2 minutes, I promise y'all. Is it no sound? That's cool. I'm just going to explain the video. Overall, what they're trying to do is explain the idea between empathy and sympathy. Sympathy, for example, my friend has a cat. Me personally, I don't like cats. I think they're just useless animals. They catch a rat like 1 or 2 times out the year. I mean, okay, cool. Me, I'm a dog person. That dog will protect you. It's your man's best friend for a reason. Now let's just happen to say, knock on wood. I think this is plastic. My best friend's cat dies. He's going to be very sad. Now, sympathy is me going, man, that's tough. Well, at least I can come over more often now. While empathy is meeting that person where they're at. And sometimes, even though I don't have a cat, and I never will, it's me getting down there and saying, hey, man, I know your cat died. And personally, I don't even know what to say to that, but if you need me, I'm here. Sometimes having empathy is not knowing what to say and admitting you not knowing what to say, and that's exactly what needs to be said. That's it. Sometimes not knowing what to say and admitting that is the exact same thing that people need to hear. Just knowing that you presently are there. And that's how we're going to stop turning into robots. Anyways, my name is Najee Davis. Have some empathy.
Nice work. Give it up for Armani, everyone. And then mine is next, please. All righty. Okay. All right, y'all. So my children have been so patient. You probably hear them up here up front. My daughter's 9 and my son is 3. He just turned 3 last week, so my presentation might be a little extra, but that's because I'm trying to get their attention. So thank you. All right, so my presentation is on AI and human connection, enhancing or eroding connection in marginalized communities. So I'm going to show just this slide of my sources and citation just to really ground you guys and where I got all of my information from and just more about my theory. So you could take a picture. Feel free to take pictures of any of my slides if you want to, later revisit something. So I'll just show this really quick and then also reference some of those theoretical frameworks. Goffman, I guess I probably should have had something up front to see it better. Goffman, frame analysis, K-Wick, sense-making in organizations, and Fisher W. narrative paradigm. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide. What's the best way to? Because I guess if I turn around, am I off camera? I'm still like the frame is within here. Okay. Okay. All right. So for those who have always had access, AI may feel like a shortcut, but for those who haven't had it, it can be a doorway. Today, we challenge a common narrative about AI and shift how we think about communication, access, and equity. It's more about who has access, who historically has not had access. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide. So I have 2 videos as well. They're just like 30 seconds, but I don't think we're going to be able to show the videos because of the audio, right? Is that correct? We don't have audio? Okay. So I do. I do. Should I just send it back there to him? Oh, Jesus, where is it? No, you guys don't worry about it. It's gonna take too long. It's okay. These videos really just talked about marginalized communities. And when we think about the complexities of marginalized communities, you can be in a marginalized group. And I think that there's this association with marginalized communities and poverty. That's not what it means by any means. When we think about identity, we think about race, we think about disability, we think about those who have been historically disadvantaged. That's how we can look at marginalized communities. It may be that I am a Black woman in America. I would consider myself being within a marginalized communities because of my level of access, right? So there's all these ways that you may fit into these subgroups within marginalized communities. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide. Next slide. You probably have to skip through this because the videos are... Okay, so the question everyone is asking is the familiar debate. Is AI making us less human? And the better question is that framing assumes everyone has already had access to communication, support, and information. But they don't. The real question is, who has access to communication in the first place? Next slide, please. So the debate is incomplete. Before evaluating AI, we must acknowledge communication itself has never been equal. Equal access. Not everyone can reach the same institutions, platforms, or resources. Equal support. Support systems, legal, medical, educational, are unevenly distributed. Equal starting points. Structural inequities shape who communicates with whom and effectively. All right, our next slide, please. So I talked a little bit about what marginalization is. I'm not gonna read everything from every slide because I do have a few slides of just some really powerful things to communicate amongst everyone today. So obviously, again, marginalized communities have limited resources. There are institutional barriers within marginalized communities, and there is reduced communication power. So as we continue to navigate through these slides, you'll see just how marginalized communities are able to access and are accessing AI during these current times that we're in. We'll go to the next slide. The missing perspective. Most AI critics originate from people who already possess what many others lack. You probably hear comments all the time about folks in the music industry are often referencing how competitive AI is now, and just the folks that are able to create music, right? Because it's given more folks access, and so they're able to produce more. When I think about I do a lot of different work, and I'm often communicating with attorneys as well. And so I find that attorneys are pushing work back off of me that I'm not even like, I haven't, gone to school for, I'm not necessarily qualified to do, but because AI exists, they're like, you have access. So there's like an expectation I'm finding in certain areas, in certain relationships. So those with access already have formal education and literacy, legal, medical, and social support systems, access to credible information. But the overlooked question is, it's not just, is AI harmful, it's who benefits and who didn't have access before AI existed. We'll go to the next slide. So the core argument, AI does not simply erode connections for marginalized communities, it can open doors that were never accessible before. So it's reducing barriers, it's increasing independence, and it is definitely expanding access. Next slide. So what the evidence shows, across multiple major research bodies, the findings is consistent. Technology meaningfully improves access for underserved populations. The critical follow-up question is not whether it helps, but who benefits most and why. Information access, number one. AI tools improve access to quality information. I think about the medical industry, and I think about all the different systems that are complex and not built for marginalized communities to navigate or understand. So now that marginalized communities have access to this information, they can get quality care within on their own, and they can also hold the medical providers accountable. So I'm finding that's a huge one. Number one, information access. Number two, communicating and learning. Digital tools support literacy and skill development. That's another, again, feel free to take a screenshot if you would like any more additional information regarding the research. Productivity gains. AI increases output, especially for under-resourced workers. Now, think about the single mother. I'm also a single mother, but I think about I don't think I'm the average single mother, but I think about single mothers who are working multiple jobs, they're barely making ends meet, they're maybe trying to go to school. There's all these different things, the complexities of a single mother. And you just don't have the time. There's just not enough hours in a day to do all that you need to do. But with AI and the ability to create, generate, and produce, you are able to have the productivity gains in many different areas that help to make your life more efficient. Another thought is that although you may be marginalized communities are obviously not an identity, it's more about access, right? So there may be a time where you're in 5 categories across marginalized communities, but you may transition out of temporarily. It may not be permanent, it may be temporary, and it may be permanent. Those who grew up in poverty builds financial stability, and they're no longer a part of that marginalized community, for example. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide. Communication independence. For many people, navigating daily life requires an intermediary, someone to translate, advocate, or interpret. AI changes that dynamic. You're able to, for the marginalized communities, they're able to draft emails, communicate professionally without external help. I know my cousin, she's 60 years old, she lives in Austin, and she said what used to take her hours to put something together now takes her 15 minutes, and she was referring to emails. Workplace advocacy, navigate HR processes and workplace language, as well as other policies and procedures. Applications and forms, school, housing, benefits, all completed independently. And a lot of time there's like a liaison, and there's a person that can help you navigate a lot of this. And I think that that kind of eliminates, in some regard, it can eliminate that bridge, that middle person that you once needed to advocate for you. Next slide, please. Understanding systems, policies, legal documents, and institutional processes are often written for those who already understand the system. AI bridges literacy gaps. So policy interpretation, institutional navigation, and usable knowledge. Those are all things that make it, those are all things that understanding the systems and working with AI can help you do. Next slide, please. All right, learning and skill building. So AI acts as a real-time learning partner, available 24/7, non-judgmental, adaptive to the learner's level. Vocabulary growth, expand language range and professional fluency in context, writing clarity, improve structure, tone, and persuasion in real time, and then confidence building, repeated practice without shame or judgment. Next slide, please. Business and creative growth. AI lowers the cost of entry into creative spaces, so launching businesses with minimal technical infrastructure, create content, marketing, and brand materials independently, and participate in the digital economy on more equal footing. I remember hearing a pastor say recently, he was just talking about how there's no excuse not to get the knowledge that you need, in these current times that we're in. And then he referenced AI in regards to it's helping to level the playing field. And I really like that. And that's what that just made me think of, about how now, there's really there's so much opportunity, there's so much you can do, and it's user friendly. So you can help to teach yourself whatever it is that you are interested in. So next slide, please. Time and cognitive load. We talked a little bit about this, but again, reducing workload, managing multiple roles, and increasing efficiency. We'll go to the next slide. This is one of my favorites. So a private, judgment-free space, because oftentimes, especially within the Black communities, we don't have safe spaces, right? When we think about our medical needs, when we think about relationships, all these different things, sometimes we feel like if we talk to our friends, our family, that they're gonna be biased, or they might not have the information. Depends on how personal, you're getting in regards to whatever the topic is. But a private, judgment-free space this is definitely one of my favorite areas, and how I utilize AI. Stigma prevents people from seeking help. AI offers a space where sensitive questions can be asked without fear of judgment, shame, or disclosure. And that source there is from 2023. This is AI and mental health. Super, super amazing research there as well. Mental health questions, explore concerns before or instead of seeking formal care. So just, asking questions about the symptoms that you're experiencing, and just how to treat different things as well. Sensitive topics, immigration, legal issues, health conditions, navigate it privately, and reduce stigma. AI creates access where social stigma once created silence. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide. The counter argument. Real risk exists. As some of my fellow classmates already communicated, that there are some risks. We can't ignore the risk, right? But we also can't ignore the benefits. So acknowledging AI's potential does not mean ignoring its danger. Impact depends entirely on how AI is used and who controls it. Reduced human interaction. Over-reliance may weaken organic social bonds and community support networks. Dependency risk. Without digital literacy, users may outsource critical thinking rather than actually building it for themselves. Misinformation. AI can amplify false or biased content, causing real harm in vulnerable communities. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide. And so AI as a bridge, not a replacement. AI is not a substitute for human connection. It is infrastructure that makes connection more possible for those who have been structurally excluded. When paired with digital literacy, education, AI becomes extremely powerful. Strengthens communications, increases access, and it expands agency without a doubt. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide. Conclusion, not equal in impact. For some, convenience. AI accelerates what they could already do, faster search, smoother writing, productivity gains. For others, access. AI provides the first real pathway into systems, institutions, and opportunities previously closed. For those who have always had access, AI may feel like a shortcut. But for those who haven't, it can be a doorway. And next slide, I believe that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
let's give another round of applause for our panel one. At this time, we would like to take some questions for panel one before we transition to panel two. Yes, sir. Who would like to answer?
His question is, one more time.
As you laid out some of the opportunities, but there's kind of overlap where AI reaches its limit. It's time for human to take over, especially I think in that ethical area where it's like haves and have-nots. When do humans intervene and say, okay, we gotta get some of these solutions to those who have so little they can't even use this tool yet?
Okay. 1 second. Armani wants to answer that question, so 1 second. And thank you for your question.
So basically, when do we know when AI reaches its limit and it's time for humanity to step in? To me, I think there's two answers for that. It's one, we're going to feel it socially. I think we're kind of feeling it now. Remember, we had the writer's strike going on. I think that was humanity stepping in saying, hey, AI is reaching its limit to the point where it's diminishing humanity. We need to do something different. So per usual, in true old human fashion, we're going to say something, do something, or make an example of what's being on. We're going to go on a strike. We're going to boycott. We're going to do, hopefully, nothing too crazy. But if it needs to go to that point to get our point across, we will. And the second part is, with AI having limitations that we know about, again, it can only replicate. It cannot create. So if you're trying to do something, it's going to limit itself. If you need to make, I think even from a legal point, if you need to make a song, let's say we make AI make a song. We put a famous rapper's voice over it. That's a limitation. Hey, you have to do this. There's no possible way. It's going to limit itself. So I think rather from a social point or just from the technology itself, having an actual limit of replication, that's where we're going to see it in those two examples.
And do we have any more questions for panel one? Is that it? I think with Mr. Armani, am I saying your name correctly? One thing when he keeps saying that it can only replicate and can't create, I keep thinking about science. And if you think about science, science can only reveal what's already there. One of the biggest things I want to congratulate panel one is that as you're in grad school for communication, one of the things as you're going through your class, we kind of overlook is public speaking. You guys did a great job public speaking. It's not easy. It's two components, doing your presentation and now presenting to the audience. So give another warm applause for that. Now let's transition to panel two, and their broad topic is talking about rewriting reality, media creativity, and communication in the age of AI. And the moderator for that is going to be Ms. Javon Harris. Okay, so I'm going to ask her to come forward. Hand up.
Good evening, y'all. I'm Javon Harris. I am in my end of my journey in this graduate thing. Man, it has been a journey. I have met some amazing people that I am grateful for, amazing instructors. Yeah, yeah, it is time. So tonight, I'm actually going to be getting into the musical side, I guess, of AI and just AI and music in general. Oh, Javon, I'm sorry. No, it's back there. That I know. So there it goes. All right, there we go. Yeah. So my presentation would be artificial intelligence in music composition, evaluating creative legitimacy versus commercial utility. Next slide, please. So basically, introduction, it just talks about how AI has really changed music in general. How now it does everything from making the beats to entire composition of a song, lyrics, the whole nine. But when this is happening now at this point, because it's becoming so, um, okay, because it's becoming so, I guess, more fluent in music, now it raises questions about creativity, authorship, and value. Slide, please. Um, so these are different examples of AI music tools. I can't even see that. Sound raw. Yeah. Thank you, because I can't see that. Oh, okay. Look at my team. Y'all are so dope. Okay. I appreciate y'all. Next slide, please. What is AI in music? It is the use of algorithms and machine learning to create or assist in music. It uses tools to analyze patterns in existing musical data, and from there it generates melodies, harmonies, lyrics, and production elements. Slide, please. Now, this is how AI goes about composing music. Sorry, y'all, I'm out of order. Through sync licensing and library music, rapid prototyping, personalized soundscapes, and stem splitting. Trained on large databases of existing songs, it just identifies musical patterns, tempos, chords, structure, generates new compositions based on learned patterns. Slide, please. Then you get into how legitimate is the creativity, or how can you define its legitimacy. People will ask, is AI a true creator, since it's someone using tools, telling it what to do, as opposed to actual producers going in the studio, being in the studio, working on the same track over and over again, tweaking it. Like my colleague said before, with the AI, the main thing is the emotions, because there are no emotions. So the intent, the human experience, it takes it away, but it's music, so it'll still make you feel a ways. If the tempo is put together right, the chords, the beat, everything, you'll still feel, if it's meant to make you feel sad, if it's a sad song, if it's a love song, whatever it is, you'll still feel it, but will you feel it? I guess, if that makes sense. Slide, please. So the arguments for creative legitimacy will be, it produces original sound combination, it enhances human creativity, it lowers barriers for creators. The curation as art defense, proponents argue that the artist's role has shifted. The human now acts as a curator or an editor, selecting and refining the AI's output to fit a specific vision. Slide, please. Now, arguments against creative legitimacy. That it has no conscience, it has no emotion. It depends on human created data. Concerns about the authenticity. The derivative nature, because AI is trained on existing human works, it can be viewed as a high-tech collage tool rather than a source of original artistic thought. Slide, please. Commercial utility defined. Did I already do this one? Oh, I got out of order. Skip this one, I'm sorry. Next slide. The benefits of AI in commercial music. It's faster production, lower costs, customizable music, yeah, because I can't see that. And 24/7, generation capability? Okay. Next slide, please. Now, the risk and concern. Now, this is a big deal for a lot of artists. Several of them have spoken out, Kalani being one. They just really feel, in essence, they feel away because it's not fair that someone can, whereas you have software to help you make a beat, to tell the software to do the entire process is another thing. And you have a lot of producers who really go in there, work hard, do it from scratch. So if you have an AI artist that's charting with real artists, then that's gonna be a problem. I think what they can do as far as that, let's say they added another category, they could in the Grammys, and you could have all the AI artists go against each other instead of them having to go against actual artists who have to go on tour, who have to who have to do all that. So, but some of the risks and concerns: job displacement, copyright issues. That's something else, because who really owns it if AI is doing all of it? At that point, are we crediting ChatGPT? Are we crediting the creator? Like, who's getting it? So that kind of falls in line with the ethical concerns as well. And then oversaturation of content. Everybody will want to be a producer. Everybody will want to be or make an AI artist, or, to that degree or that matter. Next slide, please. So when you come to the ethical and legal landscapes, you get into the copyright, the labor, how real it is from a commercial perspective and from a creative perspective. So, I think that's it for that one. Next slide, please. Now, we do have case studies to help back up how significant AI is in music or in commercials, just across the music period. You have the commercials, you have the AI assistant songwriting, the streaming platforms. I utilize so much just from YouTube, the lo-fi playlists to study with, and that's 99% AI. Like, that's just, you just tell it you want to study, it's going to give you some real reserved and relaxed music to study to. So, next slide. Human versus AI collaboration. If the lines don't get blurred too much, AI is used as a tool more than an actual worker, someone who's on payroll, I think it'll be fine. It does enhance workflow because you can cut down the work tremendously just in time and in cost. But human oversight does remain crucial, because like my colleague said before me, AI has to be prompted. So if no one's there to watch over it, then the work still won't get done. Next slide. Now, our future in AI can be a good one. It'll give us greater integration. They might come up with some new genres of music. But there will be ongoing debates on value, because who is going to get paid? At the end of the day, the money always matters. Who is going to get paid? How is it going to be split? Who is going to get the credit, etc. Next slide. Conclusion. The hybrid future. The most likely path forward isn't the replacement of the composer, but the emergence of the cyborg composer. Augmentation over replacement, using AI to handle the grunt work, mixing basic arrangements, while the human focuses on the soul, lyrics, melody, and emotions, art. A new genre. Just as synthesizers gave birth to electronic music, AI is currently birthing a new genre where algorithmic unpredictability is a celebrated aesthetic. Next slide. the bottom line. Why AI wins on commercial utility for functional background and rapid production music, creative legitimacy remains anchored in human connection, at least for now. Next slide will be my works cited. That will be it for me. Next, you want to go? Oh, okay. I'm not sure who was going next out of y'all.
We're gonna make a quick pivot. I know we've been talking about the battle with AI, but we're gonna have Ms. Crystal come up and talk about a different subject in regards to grant funding.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad that I'm able to share this information. I think that it's very important for us to be able to have the resources to be able to do our projects as we come to the completion of our grad school experience. It is very possible for you to find funding that can help you do a high quality 699 project that you can then move forward to use to market yourself and build opportunities throughout your career, at the start of your career. So just to tell you a little bit about myself, I am a seasoned veteran in the arts. Can you move to the next slide? So I'm dabble in several things. So I'm the visionary founder and president of 1881 HBCU Blue Legacy, which is a nonprofit that helps raise money for Houston area HBCU students. So any undergrad students could apply for a scholarship with the foundation that I run. I'm a 20-year plus theater, speech, and debate educator, as well as an actor, writer, producer, director. I'm a founder of my own production company, which is Crystallized Productions, and I'm also a founder and CEO of my daughter's company, which is Chloe Marseille Masterpieces. Next slide. So when we jump right into funding, it's about understanding on how many levels you can get funding. So you can get funding on the local level right here in Houston. You can get funding on the state level in the state of Texas, and you can get funding on the federal level, which would be national funding. Next slide. So we're going to start with local funding. So right here in Houston, you can apply for grants with the Houston Arts Alliance. I have won more than one grant with the Houston Arts Alliance, specifically the creative, Let's Be Creative Art. That was about $2,500. I produced a week-long summer camp for kids where we did a story about Shirley Chisholm. And I was able to also use the fact that I won that grant to then get other sponsors like the YWCA and the city council member to give additional funding that allowed me to produce the entire camp, and no kids had to pay anything. They all went free. And I think I had about between 20 and 30 kids that were right at the Emancipation Cultural Center is where we had the camp for the week. And then, so right now, if you go on that website, the first grant cycle is open right now, where you could apply for several grants. As long as, and even if you don't have a nonprofit, there's grants for individuals and there's also grants for nonprofits. Another one is the Houston Film Commission. The Houston Film Commission gives you a lot of information about films that are coming to Houston, but they also have funding sources as well. And I just realized one left off. The Southwest Media Project is another organization that also helps with training and giving grants. These are all organizations that I've been aware of for many years. And as I stated, with the Houston Arts Alliance, I've won an individual grant. And when I was the executive director of the MAC Performing Arts Collective, I actually won them an organization grant. And it's very important for you to know the correct numbers and information when you're applying for these grants, because the one that I won for them, they won the same grant. I won them the same grant that the Ensemble Theater wins, that Hits Theater wins, but the Ensemble Theater got like $75,000. The Hits Theater got like $45,000. And because the founder did not have the proper numbers, we weren't awarded nowhere near that amount, but had we had the proper numbers, we would have been awarded. So I specifically am one of those people who always stand up for what I think is right or wrong. So I actually went to City Hall and spoke in front of the mayor, Mayor Turner, and explained to him I didn't quite understand why it's so hard for smaller organizations to get funding. And that's how I found out the numbers that she gave didn't work within their formula. So it's very, very important for you to network, find out how things are done, because it could be simple things that keep you from getting the top level funding. Can we move to the next slide? So then we have state funding. So not only do we have a Houston commission for the Houston Commission for Film Commission. Then we have Texas Commission for the Arts. So every city, if you're a pretty good-sized city, have their own funding within the city. Then you move to your state, and there's a lot of funding within your state. So the Texas Commission for the Arts covers all types of arts, and they have a lot of funding. So you merely just need to go to the website, make sure you don't miss the deadlines, figure out what's allowed for individual funding and what's allowed for organizational funding, and you can tap into these funds. Then there is the Texas Film Commission. They specifically, because most of us are filmmakers, do digital media and even music, you can tap into the funding that they have as well. But you gotta do the work. You gotta go to the websites, you gotta find out the deadlines, and it's a lot of work. I'm not gonna pretend. It's a lot of work, but it's well worth it if you're getting $5,000, $10,000 to do your project. Then we have one I discovered, Texas Cultural Trust. This is actually a group of women who have decided to invest and build this trust, and you will have to get to know one of them because they will have to be willing to sponsor you. So, and you just reach out to them. It even says on the website if you reach out to them, but you have to have a sponsor so one of the members who invests in this trust has to recommend you to receive this funding. So, these are a few examples of the state level. Can we move to the next slide? Then the National Endowment for the Arts is the federal funding. That's the government federal funding that is there. So many opportunities on every level of discipline of the arts. You merely have to go on there, look at the deadlines, figure out what fits what you want to do, and the funding is there for you. The key to getting this funding and being able to use it for your 699 project, you can't apply the semester you graduate. That's not gonna work. So I'm not graduating until December, and I'm applying for funding now. So therefore, I can get that funding, I can utilize it to shoot or do the things that I want to do and then move forward. And sometimes you work on getting that funding, you do as much as you can do on your own to present your 699 project, and it may be that you finish it with these funds that you also get as well. But the key to getting the funding, you really got to know what you want to do, cultivate that idea, apply for these grants, and then get that funding. So the Mellon Foundation is an example. I wanted also to put the Rockefeller Foundation. There's so many foundations that support the arts that you can look up more than just the three that I put up there to kind of give you examples. But the Mellon Foundation gives a lot of money as well. Americans for the Arts is another one. Take the time, like I will make sure this is put on, we'll get it to where anybody can get the info and y'all can use it to help you. So we can move to the next one because I just basically tried to show you each one. So these are actual funding opportunities that are on Instagram right now. A lot of funding is just posted on Instagram. Follow the different groups. So right now, the NAACP, people sleep on them. They give a lot of funding. And you can apply for those funds. If you look real quick, and I'm gonna wrap it up, that's $10,000 for the NAACP. They have more than one project. This is the cinematic shorts, and they're giving other funding. And then here's $3,000 for another video scholarship. So between scholarships and grants, you can get the money you need to do your final project. Final slide. And so I just want to say I take great pride in supporting students, whether it's with scholarships, helping with mentorship, training actors, and grant writing. I am a grant writer, and making films. That's something I take great pride in, and that's why this was important for me to share this knowledge. If you'd like to know more information, please reach out to me. And I look forward to helping anyone who wants to take that jump into getting that funding. Thank you. Oh, okay.
It's related, I guess, a little bit. The 5K, is that you?
It is. It is. Oh, okay. Well, I'm actually having an HBCU Love 5K. It is on May the 2nd. We're raising money for HBCU scholarships. So we awarded 5 HBCU students scholarships. We've had a TSU student win a scholarship as well, Prairie View, Morehouse Spelman, Xavier, Russ College, Clark Atlanta. So we've given out 13 $1,000 scholarships. And I specifically had our organization vote to give the money straight to the students. We don't give it to the school. It takes a whole lot. So we rather give it straight to you. And we do 500 each semester for 2 semesters. So if you're an undergrad student, please apply. Our intern scholarship, some grad students have won because it incorporates you giving time to our organization. So grad students can also do that as well. So thank you for that shout out. And I do have some flyers. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because that's how we raising the money. That's how we raising the money. Yes. Praise the Lord.
All right, 5K. You ready? Okay. I'll be there to support. I can come do that. So next up to present on panel 2 is the so amazing Akila Smith, presenting Co-Designing Your Life. Come on, girl.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? Oh, I love to hear that. We got it great. Okay. Like Javon said, my name is Akila Smith. I will be discussing co-designing your life, bridging the gap between where you are and where you desire to be, utilizing AI as your strategic partner, all right? So, Malik, do you mind handing me my phone? I want to share a short clip that really embodies the idea of what we'll be talking about today. Are we able to play video clips? Or I have the audio on my phone. I can just play that really quickly. Yeah, I had to think quick when Armani's didn't play. Give me 1 second to pull that up. Thank you. Okay. Okay, I'm about to play right now. 3. Oops.
Again, so ideas is something that I don't think people really give a lot of credit to because they can spark, a generation worth of just a wealth or whatever. If it's we've seen good ideas go, for eons. So, yeah.
I think you're right. Well, especially think about it in this world today. Like everybody's kind of freaking out about AI, right? What's going to happen with tech? But man, in some ways, the execution now is not the hard part. It's like, what idea are you going to do?
Imagine taking your idea and pairing it with an AI who can actually show you the steps on getting, because we've all had ideas and just kind of left it as that, right? Just get so discouraged, don't know where to start, don't know where to look, don't know who to talk to, But yeah, AI has opened up the like, you got an idea? Well, let's push it through. So that is.
All right, next slide for me, please. So, like 2 Chainz said, the rapper in that video, it's really about having that idea and thinking about how you can utilize AI to bring that idea to life. And that connects to the theory that I'm using today, which is the extended mind theory, proposed by Andy Clark and David Chambliss. And it's the theory that suggests that thinking is not limited to the brain alone. It argues that cognition can extend into the tools, technologies, and environments we use when they actively help us remember, reason, plan, and solve problems. So we can think about that when it comes to a notebook, taking notes, or the Notes app, when we utilize our calendar, that's planning support, and when we utilize AI, that helps us with brainstorming, it helps us organize, and it also helps us with action planning. All right, next slide. So by show of hands, who has ever had an idea but didn't really know where to start, maybe felt overwhelmed, stuck? Okay, I see a couple of people in the audience can relate to that. That's the gap that we're speaking of in this presentation. Next time. Thank you. The gap between your idea and execution isn't always talent. It's about turning your idea into something actionable. Next slide, please. Thank you. As I'm learning more about AI and its capabilities, I've understood that it's not necessarily my talent, but it could be just feeling overwhelmed, not knowing where to start, and then that ultimately leaves me stuck and not starting. So my ideas just don't become reality, and then I look to the side of me and I see someone who's already starting the idea that I wanted to do. And now I feel some type of way, but it's really my fault. All right? So we have these amazing ideas, we have the vision, and we have the desire. We just need the execution plan. I like to see AI as a mirror. It's something that is able to reflect my thoughts. An amplifier. It has the ability to amplify my ideas, and also that strategic partner to help me execute on my ideas. So I have a real life scenario, this use case example, that I would like to partner with AI and present my idea to. So I'm somebody who has always desired to have a creative studio. I have around 7 years of freelance experience doing photography and graphic design. However, when I think about the idea of actually starting a creative studio, I get overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. And again, I just don't start because I feel stuck. So I decided to utilize AI as my strategic partner. Next slide. And my approach was to use a multi-shot prompt formula. And that's essentially when you provide a clear, concise statement to AI telling it what to do. So these are the steps I went through. Role. I told the AI who it should act as. I gave it a task. I provided context around what I needed it to do. I also let it know the audience, who the audience will be. I provided constraints, any rules or limitations, and then I gave it an output format. How would I like to receive the information? Next slide. So for the example I gave with my creative studio, for the role I told it to act as a creative coach. I gave it the task to help me launch my creative studio. I let it know that I have 7 years of experience, a freelance experience. However, I don't know where to start. I let it know that I am the audience. The constraints were just to keep it simple and practical, because like I said, I don't want to get overwhelmed. I don't want to have to overthink. I just want to be able to have a clear and concise plan. And then my output formula, I'm having it provide first steps, a simple launch plan, and a 30-day action plan. Next slide. And here was the ChatGPT's response. So it broke down everything exactly as I asked. It gave me the first steps, which is pick a clear direction, the first step. It gave me three steps as well: a primary service, one add-on, and a target audience. Next slide. It built a simple menu for me. Next slide. It has me building my business structure. Next slide. It also instructed me to create a simple brand presence, build my client workflow, and start early outreach. So it's giving me those first steps to go ahead and get started with bringing this creative studio to life. Perfect, next slide. After that, it provided a 4-phase launch plan. And this consisted of clarifying what this studio is. Next, phase 2, setting it up. Phase 3, showing proof, having my portfolio ready. And then phase 4, reaching out to those clients that I've worked with, letting them know what I'm doing, so then I can start making the money and actually bringing the studio to life. Next slide, please. After that, the third thing I asked AI to do was to create a 30-day action list. And this is exactly what I did. And this is also great for somebody who is on a time constraint and they're trying to hurry up and launch. Just hurry up and get started so they can get into it, start gaining those clients, and really learning how to run the creative studio. So it breaks it down by each day what I should be doing in order to have this creative studio brought to life. All right? I want to close with leaving you all with the prompt that I used. It is a fill in the blank, so you're more than welcome to take a picture if you'd like, use this with your ideas, and just to remind you that AI is most powerful when it helps us think more clearly, plan more efficiently, and when we move with intention with it, okay? Thank you.
Lastly, bringing us on home will be Malik Gaines with AI Identity and Representation in Digital Communication. Oh, that's not yours? Oh, I'm sorry.
Whew. All right. Should we lower this? Yes, thank you. All right, so correction, my presentation is about combating misinformation. A little bit, yeah, I'm like Kevin Hart's height. Okay, yeah, we're good. All right, thank you. So, again, I'm Malik Gaines. I'm a graduate student here in the Professional Communication and Digital Media program. My presentation is about combating misinformation. Can AI fact check better than humans? So, as you all know, we're living in an era where information spreads faster than anybody can verify. The volume, overwhelming. The speed, unprecedented. The stakes are higher than ever. So the central question becomes unavoidable. Can humans fact-checking keep up, or must AI take the lead? Today we'll examine that truth-seeking and carefully analyze whether or not AI and humans can work together in order to get accurate data from the system. I do have a question for everyone to reflect on, and that's, what's the last piece of news that you came across recently, and how did you decide whether or not to trust it? Bonus question. How many facts do you think that you encounter daily? Especially now in the age of our cell phones with 8 billion people on the planet, there's billions of information being sent into the AI, and what's true, what's not, it's hard to decipher. Next slide. The theoretical framework. So this theory explains how digital environments produce more information than humans can reasonably process. So everyone remembers the pandemic. I got another word for you, infodemic. That's what we're in right now with AI. Misinformation spreads faster than traditional verification methods can respond. This creates a scalability gap that motivates the need for AI-assisted fact-checking. And why does this matter? It justifies why humans cannot keep up and why automation becomes necessary. False claims, they travel faster than any traditional verification process can handle, which leads me into my next slide, which is that human fact-checkers, while highly accurate, work through a slow and resource-intensive process that cannot keep pace with the billions of posts shared every day. As I mentioned before, billions of people. Everybody has a cell phone. Kids have cell phones. So it's just a lot of information that's being processed into the system daily and continually, probably maybe 24 hours a day. Who sleeps now with streaming, right? So in order to address this imbalance, researchers increasingly advocate for the human-in-the-loop framework. So that means that humans have to act as a conduit for AI. We have to have someone who is actually able to fact check pretty much, because AI is it only knows so much. As we learned from Armani's presentation and everything, it knows what you give it. It doesn't know all the answers. So moving on to my next slide, you'll see it's a 3-tiered pipeline that helps illustrate how this hybrid system works. First of all, AI, it acts as a rapid filter that sifts through massive volumes of content to identify factual claims worth checking. Then it moves on to the next process. That's when AI is uncertain. The task moves to train crowd workers who provide more reliable and interpretable classifications than machines alone. Then the final process is going to be that the most complex and high-stakes claims reach expert fact-checkers, whose domain knowledge and consensus-driven methods serves as the golden standard. While AI tools that we know of that we're using, like ChatGPT, and we use Copilot, everybody has named quite a few before me, they produce comical errors and suffer from black box opacity, reminding us that speed does not always equal accuracy. I think we've learned that in many other lessons in life as well. Just because it's faster doesn't mean that it's accurate or that it's better. We still have to research for ourselves in order to gain an understanding of what we're trying to figure out, and also to understand whether or not AI is giving us the proper data. Because, I mean, I can put whatever it is that I'm looking for in AI, and if I don't go check behind it, I turn that assignment in, and it's talking about cats and dogs when I was looking for rainbows and butterflies. So we have to be on top of our own selves so we can fact check ourselves versus against the AI that we're trying to use for our advancement or for our daily whatever it is that we're trying to get through. So if you can go to the next slide for me, please. All right, so I titled this Challenging What You Think You Know, because, I mean, it's talking about how the psychology of us, like human beings, like we have our own biases. So our biases is a confirmation bias. So everyone grew up here differently. So we all come from different walks of life. So some people may have grown up in a Christian household. So you hold those values true to your heart. And let's say you're looking for something and you put it in AI and it goes against those values that you hold near and dear to you. So your bias, your own bias, is not going to allow you to believe what the AI system is telling you, because you're like, no, because I know this. You know, I was taught this. And no matter what congregation I go to, it's the same across the board. as far as Christianity is concerned. So just saying that we have to use our minds also when we're using AI, so that we're aware of what it is that we're doing. So people tend to accept information that aligns with their beliefs and resist corrections that challenge their identity. And interestingly enough, users are more willing to trust a system labeled as highly accurate, around 97%, even when it contradicts their biases. So how many of you were against AI when it first launched? Me. So, yeah, I come from, the era of, exactly. So, when the internet really came about, I was kind of like, I was interested in it, and I wanted to learn about it. But like when cell phones, we got our cell phones and everything. I mean, it wasn't something that I needed, because I was one of the kids who went to play outside, and I rode my bike, and, I skated, and, I did things outside. I wasn't really amped to just welcome this new device and get to learn it or get to use it. Same thing with AI. I feel the same as Armani does when using it for things that we can do on our own, like writing papers, and especially from my upbringing. My grandmother was an English teacher, so I'm very well versed in the English language. She had me in oratorial contests when I was a kid, so speaking is something that I do. And for me to go and put something in AI and be like, hey, give me this, it's gonna feel kind of, I'm gonna have a cognitive dissonance with that when it comes to that for me. So that's my own psychological analysis of like using AI. But it is helpful in some sense when you use it as a tool, because I've used it to write a script for me when I had to create a video for one of my other courses. Hey, I did the work. I just said, hey, this is what I did. This is the lenses that I shot it with. Produce a script for me. I took the script and I turned it in, because I mean, it's my idea, it's my work that I did. I just needed it to outline it for me. So if we're mindful of how we use it, I think it's an excellent tool. We can move to the next slide, please, and thank you. All right, so the framework around AI. So here it says that we need to prioritize transparency and ethical accountability. The gentleman in the back, he kind of touched on that, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna touch on that a little bit, when Armani had answered the question. So organizations, they have to move beyond internal policies to provide public-facing AI ethics guidelines that clearly define how and why automated tools are being used to uphold core journalistic values. So being ethical in everything in their use of AI. I think it's only right that if I go out, let's say I'm a photographer or a videographer, I'm going to go out and I'm going to shoot with people. I'm going to shoot them for a photo shoot, but then I go and retouch their photos using AI, and I haven't told them anything. Is that fair to the person that to the client that I just did, I just shot for? No, it isn't. So ethically, I have to tell them, hey, I may be using this AI software to create whatever it is that the final product of the shoot that we just did or whatever. So you have to stay within the lines of, have to stay within those left and right limits when it comes to using AI ethically. This transparency combined with a clear explanation of the human in the loop process, where AI crowdsourced workers and experts collaborate, helps ensure the public understands the system is designed for accountability rather than automated censorship. Also, we have to implement non-descriptive and intuitive disclosure to build trust without overwhelming the audience. Fact checks should be directly disclosed through subtle user interface elements, such as labels placed beneath video content rather than over it. We've all seen some videos, especially now circulating, and they call it deep fakes now, that it's like a political person, someone running for an office or something, they can create a video using AI and try to pass it off as theirs. And we shouldn't be doing that. That's pretty much what this last implement of non-descriptive and intuitive disclosure is talking about. So moving on to the next point is communicate accuracy to attenuate or reduce personal biases. So actively sharing the system's reliability and precise scores is critical, as research shows that when a fact checker is perceived as highly accurate, the influence of a user's prior personal beliefs is significantly reduced, making them more likely to accept the verification. We can move on to the next slide. All right, in conclusion, can AI fact check better than humans? In speed, yes. In nuance, no. That just means that AI cannot, it doesn't have emotion, doesn't have feelings. Once again, like we're beating that like a dead horse, but again, that's a fact. In accuracy, it just depends on the context. Again, you have to check the checker. And in combination, absolutely. That's how it should be done. Keeping that human in the loop aspect and utilizing AI is gonna be how we move forward. So to close, truth isn't a solo sport anymore. It's a team effort between humans and AI. Thank you.
Okay, we have time for about 2 questions. Everybody looking tired, but we gotta have at least 1 or 2 questions. That was, I mean, give them up for panel 2. One question? Yes. Okay.
You guys touched on so many different points, especially the last 2, which kind of pulled in taking what we know, making it into meaningful, scalable solutions that can be revenue generating. Have you challenged each other to kind of pool your resources and minds and outcomes together to actually do that, form that company or solution, if you will, and put it to market? Because I don't know what I could ask my based on what I've seen, we all touch on entertainment is a big part of it because of the approach you guys have taken with entertainment. Just one more, please. Could you use the microphone, please? Thank you. So I'll try to summarize it a little bit. Yeah. So my question was really directed to the class as a team unit. And the approaches that you all took at it really highlighted an opportunity to use your intellectual property, your software as a solution, your minds, and put that to market as a revenue generator. And how can AI say, okay, here's what we all presented. These are the best solutions we could present now. You really touched on some great problems in industry specifically. Now, how can we kind of flip that switch and say, as our last 2 presenters, Dutch, and say, okay, how can we make this meaningful toward an outcome? Because the information is all here. And the minds behind the information are literally all here. So how do we make sure we can kind of flip that next switch and say, we're all now executives of a corporation with these ideas, of a software as a solution. We're all executives. How do we bring this to market and make our billion? Yeah. And I want to, let them answer, please all.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think we're just getting started. We're just getting started with learning and working together, and so we're at the very beginning of our cohort, and so we hope to all finish together. But we have the next year to think about that question and start working on how we'll work together, because we've already been talking about how we're going to work together. But I appreciate that question. I'm sure we all do, right? Now, can we go home? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You lasting? I'm tired. No, but listen. No. Check this out. Sorry. Okay, no, seriously. Shout out to Dr. Ulasi for the opportunity, because we really do appreciate this amazing opportunity. Yes. And do you mind if we take a group picture together with you in the middle? Will you get in the middle and we'll take a picture? Okay, perfect.
Close out. It's like, don't. We on live. Yeah, I'm about to close it up. So just to kind of close up, just the words of getting through the journey. You know, just kind of a question to think about: what happens when an accident becomes part of the purpose? When you start thinking about byproduct, a byproduct is an accident when you're manufacturing the primary product. And anybody drinking water, the byproduct of a plastic is, the plastic is a byproduct of oil. Now, 2 years ago, I was just in your seats as a grad student. I didn't even think about going to grad school with everything I had going in my life. Now I'm at a point where I realize how important communication is. Everything you guys are doing in this grad, I promise you, is not going to be wasted. I looked up, and now I'm educating undergrad about communication, public speaking, presenting, AI, These are all on the forefront of what's happening at this moment. Many of us may have kids. Your kids are going to be dealing with a different version than we're talking about right now. So I don't want you guys to take this for granted on what they're doing for you guys and the opportunity you had just to present. It's a skill that's much needed. You never know, as you are typing in AI and it's giving you the framework for your billion-dollar company, as the gentleman said back there, you will have to present to investors and convincingly communicate and present, hey, invest in this company and this is why. Okay, and like she said, hey, you may need some help on that project, and you guys as a cohort can reach out to each other on that. So just take everything, soak everything up, talk with your professors, all of them, and all of them, and anytime they want you to do something, do it. Don't question it. Just remember the byproduct. Nothing is wasted. And in those moments, we'll close up and we will take a picture. Oh, Dr. Obi, you want to close up?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a few words, and then we take pictures. I'm sleeping. Yeah, but we got business to take care of. This is more important. Now, let me. This is very significant. This particular program, and let me tell you why. 2 years ago, he led this panel. Did you tell them? Okay, 2 years ago, he led it. Today, he's a professor. Moderating the same panel he led 2 years ago. This is your very first scholarly presentation. Yeah. And let me tell you what happens after this. This conference ends tomorrow. Next week, we issue a communique. It's an official document showing who actually presented. Remember the program book? Some folks didn't show up. This is a program book. The communique is the official one that you're going to be sending to your prospective employers, or if you want to teach in a school, and then you tell them you did a presentation. The communique is what is digital, it's physical. That's what you showed them. This is live stream. 2 years ago, I present every year actually. What I do is that I go to the Tiger YouTube, cut my own presentation. Not just that, cut out sound bites off of it. And then anytime I start sharing it, they'll be asking me, where's the rest of them? I say, no, you won't see the rest. There's power of this program. Right. And also, this is not an inspirational speaking arena. This is a scholarly presentation arena. You think we don't need audience? We need folks with interest to what we are presenting. Yeah. And when we start sharing it, now it goes live. By tomorrow, you see people download it, you see the views increase. So when we're doing this kind of presentation, we're not, looking at 1 million people trying to, make them feel good. So this is serious business. Right. So I congratulate you for this. And by the way, I did the paparazzi. So I'm going to, I didn't even talk about the magazine. We are doing a special section of this event in a magazine that is coming out in 2 weeks, our SOC magazine, both digital and print. Of course, I'm close to your class, so you will get, copies of that. So you will get the magazine, then the communique, which is the very, very important document that you will take out of here. You are going to be there with your presentations, with the link. This communique is registered with the Library of Congress. It's not a brochure. It's official document. Okay? So congratulations again, and now you can come on, let's just simply.
Who taking the picture, Doctor? Oh, you gonna take the picture? Oh, Doc.